want to express my appreciation for your having invited me. And secondly, I think it may be the first time since my bout in the hospital. The subject for this afternoon is not a very light one, but I need to make certain qualifications and establish some ground rules for this presentation. Of late, it would seem that brothers and sisters find it difficult to hear anything about Islam that doesn't satisfy their curiosity about Islam.
Right.
So many of us can't separate being an Arab from being a Muslim. So many of us cannot distinguish between our religious belief and history. And so many of us want our history, or that which we believe in, to be perfectly pure, whatever that means. And anyone else's completely corrupted. I am not a Christian. I am not a Jew. I am not a Muslim. So you don't need to ask this later on. And I have no intent of being either, because neither means anything to me. And all three have been my enemy.
I hear that. I hear that.
And all three are still my enemy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, when the Africans, and you could have no doubt that I am an African, you may find difficulty with you being an African, and you don't know it, but everybody else knows you're an African. Even your mirror knows that you're an African.
All right, all right.
Now, understanding those things, we can then speak to each other. But first, let me give some dates. These dates are which I'm going to base my presentation to you. And there have to be some other facts, which I'm sure you will not deny when I reveal them. In the first place, we have to get rid of a certain notion. And that notion is that mankind started with two people called Adam and Eve. And maybe we could get rid of that nonsense immediately. If you don't need that, gentleman just came in with the gray here, that's a little more than I. That is my associate, Professor George Simmons.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As a matter of fact, I should say I am his associate because I do very little in the office now. He runs the office, I'm stepping down. Time is catching up with me, and it's pretty close behind him. But, as I was saying, Adam and Eve is a concept by a certain group of people in the world, the Jewish people. I'm not speaking of the Jewish people today. A group of people no earlier than 1675 BCE, before the Common Era, starting with a person called Abraham. And this Abraham was in a place called Asher, around an area called Chaldea, near the city of Ur. Before that, there is not a single Jewish person. There is no God named Jehovah either. You have no God named Jehovah. You have no concept of Adam and Eve before the first Jew. Jews brought the concept of Adam and Eve, Jehovah God, and that the world was made in 7 days. That's strictly Jewish. Anybody that adopted it from the Jews. It got nothing to do with any God.
Yes, sir.
And the better we deal with it, then, and if you could name any work prior to the Jewish writers at the Sanhedrin, name any source where Adam and Eve is mentioned or Jehovah is mentioned before the Jews, please let me know. And if you do, I will join any movement you want. I would even join Tammy and the 700 or 600 Club.
I hear that.
And if you know it, say no, or forever hold your peace. Now, that one is clear. The second is Christianity. Prior to 1978 years ago, there was never a person called Jesus or Joshua Christus. Jesus the Anointed. The Greeks called it Joshua Christus. C-R-Y-S-T-O-S. Jesus the Anointed. There's nobody named Christ. Nonsense. Christus, the word Christ comes from the Greek word. Christus means to be anointed. And to anoint is to take some oil, sweet unguent, and rub your child's face and wish him good luck on the road to some journey. So nobody named Jesus took on the journey. But after years from the Nicene Conference of Bishops, that title has changed until it becomes the surname of a person called Jesus. And that is before 1978 years ago. If anybody could tell me and show me any literature at all with the name Jesus before that time, speak it out now. Whether you're a reverend, minister, pope, or anything else. Show me. And don't tell me that when the Jewish God said, let us make men, he was talking to Jesus. How can talk to Jesus and Mary ain't born yet? and the Jewish God cannot say to another man, let us make men. You mean let us make AIDS? If a man will tell another man, let us make AIDS, the only thing could come out of that is AIDS.
I hear that.
No, there's a possibility if he said to a woman, let us make a man. Sure, there's a possibility of a man coming out of it, at least a little man. I have to get these things clear so that we understand each other before I proceed further. Now that's Jehovah taken care of, and Jesus has taken care of. Now let me get to Allah. Now, all I'm talking there, nobody named Muhammad is born yet. When Jesus is supposed to be born, Muhammad isn't born yet. When Abraham is supposed to be born, Jesus Muhammad isn't born yet. Now let me get to Muhammad. And if any imam is included, the best one in Mecca, no difference than this, let him talk up, because he hasn't spoken yet. Muhammad ibn Abdullah was born around 570 of the Common Era, which would be equivalent to 622 of the Common Era. So it's 1,000 and odd years, 1,200 odd years ago. Whether you said he went up in a cloud, whether 15 archangels dropped a Quran in his hand, even though he couldn't read and write, I don't know where he could drop in his hand, why he couldn't read it. He doesn't know what the angel is telling him. You got to get somebody else to read it because he was illiterate in his own language.
Yes, sir.
Now, again, the same thing. If anybody know anything to the difference, speak up or hold your peace. Now let us go, since we got the earliest of these so-called three inspired religions, is the one of Judaism. What does the African people have before the birth of the first person of these three religions? Before the name of the first God of these three religions? Well, we said Abraham is born around 1675 before the Christian era. That is at the time when the Africans along the Nile is in the 13th dynastic period.
Right.
Not the Africans are interested in that dynasty, the 13th. The dynastic period is not measuring the first time the African is on the scene, because nobody knows when was the first time he got on the scene. Because when you're talking about Adam and Eve 6,000 years ago, about 6,000 ago, that's nonsense. That's child play. Because we don't have no part of Adam or Eve, no bones, no nothing, but when we could go to the Crichton Museum and see in that museum a part of the head of Zimbabwe's boy, 1.7 million years old. And we could go to Ethiopia and see another part of Lucy, 3.2 million years old. Now you're talking about some damn Adam at 6,000 years old. And I'm talking about two African people, 3 million years old and 1.7 million years old. And you still stamping in some church for some damn Adam and Eve. I know it's going to hurt you, but then that's what I want. Because you will probably do some thinking.
Yeah. Wake him up.
But when the first Jew was born, let us deal with the scenario of the Nile Valley. And the Nile Valley doesn't start in Egypt. It ends at the northern part of Egypt.
Right.
It starts in Uganda and Ethiopia. That is 4,100 miles south of the sea, the Great Sea, or later the Sea of Sight, now called the Mediterranean. And the Egyptians themselves, those people of Africa whom Herodotus described in his book too, they told us themselves who they are. They said they came from the beginning, I'm going to quote it verbatim, we came from the beginning of the Nile, where God, happy, H-A-P-I, dwells at the foothills of the mountain of the moon, unquote. Now let us see that. The beginning of the Nile is three places. You got the beginning of the White Nile, the longest, is in Uganda, out of Mwanza, Nyanza, which the British once called Lake Victoria. They don't have a Lake Victoria, that's nonsense. Victoria never had a lake in Africa.
All right.
There may be one in England. Now, the next body of water called the Nile is the Blue Nile. And that starts in Lake Tana in Ethiopia. And the last body of water connected to the Nile is the Atbara River, also in the highlands of Ethiopia. The Blue and White Nile meet each other in Khartoum, Sudan. And then they continue to ride to flow down north. The only major river that flows in northerly direction. And then it meets with the Atbara River at a place called Atbara. From then on it flows still north, all the way to northern Sudan, enters southern Egypt by Abu Simbel, and flows all the way until it reaches the delta and then spills in the Great Sea. What kind of culture, what is there before the birth of Abraham? What is there on the Nile before everybody ever talked about a God named Jehovah, or Jesus, or Allah? Before there's a Bible, before there's anything called the Torah, anything called the Old Testament, anything called the Quran. Let us look up some. It'll take me 2 years to tell you what's on it. The Nile before this time. But let me deal with some of the things that got you jammed up that you don't know about. Every one of the 72 pyramids of Egypt and the 32 pyramids of Sudan are already in Egypt before Abraham, the first Jew, is born.
All right.
Now, how the hell could God say, and beg that when they go to the biggest pyramid, stand up there and say, this is the pyramid our ancestors today born.
Get out of here.
When all of those pyramids, every one, was built before the first Jew, Abraham, was born.
Right.
One thing, Jews were smart. They didn't put that in the Bible. There is nothing in the Torah that speaks of the Hebrews building pyramids. Nothing. It's an old wise tale that has been repeated after time. But let us get it. I didn't know that they had pyramids in Poland or pyramids in Germany. I know the Italians tried to build one in old Rome, and they got to a story and a half and stopped. It's still there. It's near the arch of a great African emperor of Rome. Near the arch of Septimus Severus, you could see the attempt that's made. That's all right, they tried. You can't condemn a man for trying. Okay. If anybody could show me in the Torah, the Old Testament, where there's any mention of building of pyramids made of mud and straw. I have been going to Egypt in 1939. And I want to say, and there are people here who have been to Egypt with me some numerous times, and they have carried them to see it, to hold it, to touch it, go up in it, and they didn't see a brick made of any material, much less mud and straw. The pyramid that they stand on is 48 stories high, using 10 feet per story is 480 feet. It is 3.5 blocks wide by long. That means about 634 feet long by 634 feet wide. Now you can't put one block on top there, and they ain't got a mortar. So you can put bricks upon bricks there, they'll cross from about the third story.
Right.
Yet you keep saying that lie. You keep using the myth. Keep talking some nonsense about go down Moses, let my people go. So Pharaoh, the hell is going down? He's already in Egypt.
All right.
He's born there. He's 85 years, never gone nowhere else. He can't go down. If in fact he existed, let's go on. You have an educational system. Does Abraham and his little family, did he come from an educational system in Ur? They said no, he was a shepherd. He wasn't from the city, he was from outside the city. What language is Abraham speaking? Hebrew didn't exist yet. It was not the language of the people we later call Hebrew or Haribu originally. They weren't even speaking the language written in the Talmud that Jesus was supposed to have spoken, Aramaic. These are late language, because the Torah, the first one, wasn't even written in either of these. It was written in Greek.
Right.
The Septuagint, the first one.
Right.
And they didn't use the Torah as the first book. They were using the Kabbalah as their first book.
Kabbalah.
Talking about lions and dragons with 55 heads and all kind of this. You hear, you forget that's what it comes out of. You think that the first book was the Old Testament. Oh, no. Let's see it again. The Africans have already made paper, papyrus. The Africans have already the calendar to tell time. Abraham doesn't know anything about time. He sees the sun come up and then go down, a moon come up, but he don't know nothing about time. He is from the country, minding the shepherd. He is a dummy shepherd.
Right, brother.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Now, in the educational system, which they call a mystery system, the Africans on the Nile have an educational system where a boy enters at age 7.
Right.
And he stays there for 40 years, and when he leaves, he goes with the title of priest. He studied what we call today the 7 liberal arts, science, mathematics, engineering, etc., etc. So that's how he could build the parents. And those Africans have the calendar. The calendar by that time has been revised twice, from the stellar calendar to the solar calendar, with 365 and a quarter days each year, corrected each 7th year. They have triangulation. The Africans already have 3.14, which the Greeks call pi. The Africans already have pharmacology. They already have surgical papers. Mind you, until I reach 1000 BC, there is no European nation in history.
Yes, sir.
Greece, which was before that called Persia, Rome, which was before that called Etrusca, did not exist until 1000 BC. So I'm not talking about them. They're not here yet. I don't say they're not in the world, but they are not in history yet as a nation. Now, those Africans have already a book of holy scriptures, the book of the coming forth by day
Yes, sir.
and by night,
Yes, sir.
which Budge called, in his translation from the hieratic writing into the English language, which he did in 1895, while he was curator at the museum director in London, England. He changed the name to the Book of the Dead and the Papyrus of Annie. You could buy a copy of Guess Out here today. The Africans are already speaking of a God. And this is, wait now, let's get straight, it's 4100 BC. Abraham isn't born till 1675 BC. That's over 2,000 and odd years before the birth of Abraham, before there was the Adam and Eve, before there's a Jehovah. This is happening. This is the first dynasty. This is at the reunification of Egypt, not the beginning of Egypt. Egypt had already begun long before, during the time called the civilian period. Civilian, the first, second, and third, starting in 225,000 BC. The Africans of Egypt, Ethiopia, Nubia had already written.
Right.
In the hieroglyphic. Much of the old style of hieroglyphic we can't even yet decipher today. Only the demotic and the hieratic are we dealing with? The much older style we are still trying to decipher.
I hear you, brother. More teeth, more teeth.
What else are we talking about? The Africans already have a story about murder. When you go to Egypt, at a temple called Edfu, it's called the Temple of Heru, the elder, or Horus the elder, at the place called Edfu, you see in life-size drawings and dig into the wall the drama of Heru revenging his father Asaru or Osiris' death by killing his uncle Setiphon. And they tell you, but Cain was the first man to kill his brother. Nonsense. More than 3,000 years before the Jews at the Sanhedrin wrote the story of Cain and Abel, copied it, this story existed. And before even this one, the story of Setiphon killing his brother Osiris. We could go now to the temple of Aset, which they call Isis, at the island of Philae, and see the beginning of the story. Now all these temples I'm telling you exist. This is no fairy tale. The story, if the story is a fairy tale, that may be, but the fact that the story is still there, written on the wall, that isn't a fairy tale, because anybody could go and still see the story. Not only written in letters, but drawn and cut in the wall.
That's right.
That story is there. The murder of a man by his brother. When we go to the temple of Setaiwan, at a place called Abydos, where the first religious pilgrimage by any group of people took place. There was no Jerusalem yet, there was no Bethlehem yet, no Mecca yet, no Medina yet. When men first went for religious pilgrimage to the place where the God was to be, at this place called Abydos, you go there and see the immaculate conception of Aset becoming pregnant by the God. And this is 4,100 years before Mary turned the same trick. Go see for yourself. Don't take my word. Go see. Prove me a liar. At that same temple, you see the resurrection of Osiris. 4,100 years before Jesus resurrected Lazarus.
Yes, sir.
The temple of Setaiwan, S-E-T-I-1. It's also spelled S-E-T-H-I, 1, the number 1. Seti-1, we're going to hear more about him because his son Ramesses II is the one they're going to associate with Moses and the Passover.
Right.
And he died in 1298, which was the 19th dynasty. Now, it is the killing of Osiris by his brother that his wife, when going to collect the 14 pieces which his body was cut up into by his brother, and she not finding one of the 14 pieces, his penis, ordered that an obelisk be erected in memory of his penis so that those who unmanned him should always see it.
Right.
And we reminded of the justice they are yet to receive. So that when you go to Washington, D.C., and see George Washington Memorial, all you're seeing is the penis that Martha didn't get.
Here, here. Here, here.
As a matter of fact, you could go to Central Park and see one they call Cleopatra's Needle. Has nothing to do with Cleopatra. That is the obelisk of Thutmose III.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The son of Queen Makari Hatshepsut, the daughter of Thutmose I, and the first woman to rule a country all by herself and rule as a king and a queen simultaneously,
right,
wearing men's clothing and a false beard. Don't get me wrong, she was no Elizabeth, she was no Butch. She had 2 babies. She didn't have AIDS. We probably have to get to this, but this thing about faggot and all these things. We probably have time for that, if not in another lecture. But all right. Now, they had the same queen I just dealt with. We're not talking about condom and all these kind of things. In 1555, before the Christian era, Queen Hatshepsut had already had her surgeons, her doctors, her chemists to provide her with a method to stop pregnancy. It is today called in museum the Ebers Papyrus, which is to be the composition of the shrub of acacia mixed with honey to create lactic acid, which was made into a suppository, placed into the vagina to trap the sperm. That became today called autogenal jelly, which you use in diaphragms. So now with young black girls getting pregnant unnecessarily, it shouldn't be, because if their mothers had known what their ancestors knew, those girls didn't have to be pregnant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But you telling her go to prayer. When she hot, you tell her go pray. Prayer have never cooled off a vagina.
I hear that. I hear that. All right. All right. All right.
So here we go again. The Africans have already, now we go to the temple of Heru, otherwise called Hathor at Dendera. And in the ceiling, we see the constellations and the African view of the heavenly bodies. Not that garbage that you read, can't go out in the street until you read your horoscope. You're junk.
Right.
You can't love this man because his sun is in somebody's moon, when his moon should have been in Jupiter, and Jupiter is blocking the hell out of Juno, and some crab and jackass is going inside the place. That's junk!
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can ask of yourself.
Absolutely.
Go up in the street and take that damn paper and that book and do what you should have done in the first place. Wipe it behind and send it across down the toilet bowl.
Absolutely.
That's all it's good for.
Absolutely.
If you stop reading them junk, be good to the man, and the man be good to the woman, you don't have to worry a damn thing about how you going to get a woman. And don't go to church with no damn girl begging for a woman. If you're any damn good, the man will stay or the woman will stay. Then you don't have to beg. The time you spend begging, you should have been in the bed doing. I know it sounds hard to some of you, but I got to remind you, the only reason you're here is because your mama went to bed with her daddy. Bed doesn't mean necessarily you could have been standing up, sitting down, lying down, up in the airplane, in the bush. I don't understand. But that's why you're here. That is your God. Your daddy's penis and your mama's vagina. And for you brothers who think that a baby make you a man, the only thing a baby proves is that you are male. A man supports his spirit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A father supports his spirit, a male could make a child.
Right, right.
But let's get straight something else before I go.
Go on, straight it out, though.
There is a single man you know that passed a baby. All you women let these guys run some damn trick down you. Tell you some goddamn nonsense, but he passed some baby. He gives you a baby. He don't give you some baby. He gives you some sperm. You understand? If that sperm drop, it die on the ground. You give no baby? Put a little piece of rubber in there and block that sperm, and it will strangulate, die from suffocation. That ain't a baby. If it's a baby, it should just grow. And you pass the ovum, an egg, which collides with that sperm if it's lucky. And the fertilization starts. The sperm and the baby and the ovum in the woman. In the woman. That's where the baby is made. Inside of heaven. The woman's body.
Yes, sir.
That's where heaven is. Heaven is between a black woman's legs. And that, you doubt me, that's where you remain for 10 months under normal conditions in the womb. If it ain't heaven, what the hell is it? She may not know if she's heaven, because she gets there in the bed when the baby come out, and instead of glorification, she is saying she's sorry. She feels bad. You're born in sin. Damn it, no bad sin. Born hospital, the bush, or the taxi, wherever you got it. But there's not a damn place named sin. That is your godly child. You're perfect human. There's nothing wrong with it. The only way you can get it is a man and woman, and that's the way you got it. It has nothing to do with a piece of paper from City Hall. Or not. And this is long before Judaism. As a matter of fact, if you want to believe that that Mary got pregnant by an angel of the Lord, ask him how many inches the angel had. Let me go back to the book of Matthew. In the book of Matthew it says, and Abraham and Joseph came to the woman, and he betrothed her. He left her, and 3 months later he came back and noticed that she was with child. Now you don't know when those show in 3 months. It had to be more than 3 months unless she was going to come a child. Well, let's say it's 3 months and she's showing. And the book says that Joseph, in amazement, asked, what happened? That's the way he felt. If that happened, where it happened, they said he spoke the language of the people. And the people did not say, whither thou That's Shakespeare. That's not the people. Even the English people didn't speak that way. Joseph in his amazement said, Mary, what's happening, baby? How come? I ain't touched you yet. How come? And Mary couldn't answer the question. But they said in the night when Joseph went to sleep, an angel of the Lord came to him. How come the angel don't come when the man is wide awake? Tell this man the story when he's wide awake. And the angel said, what she has in her is not of man, but of the Lord. Go ahead. The Roman Catholic said that Jesus wasn't the virgin child, that Mary was born of a virgin birth. Her mother had her without sex. Read the Protocovillion and the Book of Mary, one of the 18 books that took out of the Bible.
I have it.
The Catholics now call it the Apocrypha.
I have it.
And they said Mary's mother was born of a virgin birth too. It means there was no sex in the family for 3 generations.
What's up?
I mean, look, if you want to believe it, believe it. But don't ask me to believe it. Now, let's go back. Where did that come from? You said that inspired men. Is it inspired men or the Sanhedrin? No. Or is it inspired men or the men ordered by Constantine? The Roman emperor ordered 219 bishops to Nicaea, which is called the Conference of Bishops of Nicaea.
Right.
Where those 219 men bring up this thing, they said, if in fact that Isis could deliver her child by a virgin birth and immaculate conception, then Mary could do it. It is on that basis. They were copying what Origin, O-R-E-G-I-N, the forerunner of Augustine, the African, who wrote the fundamental principle of modern Christianity and sex in his book on Christian doctrine. The same Augustine who had his only child in a whole house.
Tell me about it.
With a prostitute, the child named Abu Kreta. The same church that an African named Tertullian gave the Latin language of the church. The same church that an African named Cyprian gave the fundamental moral principles. The same church that 3 African women were the first to die in the name of Jesus, Felicita, Nymphano, and Perpetua, all of Africa, North Africa, Carthage, and Numidia. Go on, teach that. Go on, teach. Read Augustine. The life of Augustine. Read it. It's called The Confession of St. Augustine. Read his book, The Holy City of God. Read his book on Christian doctrines. He wrote 48 books. He brought into modern young Christianity what he got from the Mantian religion after he went to school in Carthage, which today they changed to Carthage. It is there. It is there that even the lie that John wrote some book called Revelation. It's Bishop Athanasius who wrote Revelation and said that he remembered the teachings by John. John didn't write a single book. Athanasius wrote the book, and they said John inspired him, even though John had gone umpteen years. It's just like those of you who are Christians. Are you not Christian? You are Paulites and Paulines. You don't follow Jesus. You follow the word of a man named Saul of Tarsus, who said that on the way to Damascus, he saw Jesus after Jesus had died. The same Paul who was killing Christians.
Right.
But when the Romans jumped him up and was going to kill him for double crossing his own people, he had nowhere to run, and he ran plumb into the Christians. And when they said, let us kill him, he said, don't wait, baby, wait. You all got it wrong. Yes, I'm bad at kill Christians, but I've had an experience you need. I just saw Jesus. And the damn fool said, oh God, don't kill him. He just saw Jesus. He run the biggest campaign I've ever been in 1,800 years. And they changed his name to Paul from Saul of Tarsus, and it is his letters that you are constantly, you don't teach Jesus. How the hell are you teaching Jesus and tell me that Jesus said, slave, obey your master? Could a man that violated all the rules against injustices, a man who takes a prostitute and throws his hand around her and says, come on baby, don't worry about what they're doing? Or you got to say that throwing stones at her. I see you, Mr. So-and-so. That man you were with last night, where you husband? I see you, Mr. So-and-so, when you run out of the whole house, go see. You throw the first stone, any one of you that don't got no sin. Because let me know who you are. I'll tell you just what you just been doing. You are just like this, acting like Powell and Carter and Reagan and all of them. No, let's bring it down front. But are we saying that morality based upon the Ten Commandments was from Moses and the Jews? Nonsense! There was no Moses when the Africans were using 42 laws called the 42 admonitions of Ma'at.
Yes, sir.
M-A-A-T, Goddess Ma'at, the goddess of justice, which the United States Supreme copied. They copied the symbol with the scale, the two scales.
Right.
But they couldn't copy that correctly. They got one scale up and one scale down. That isn't justice. That's justice. To the tomb of Ramesses VI at the Valley of the King. It's the tomb right next to the Duncan's tomb. And you see Goddess Ma'at with a scale, wearing the feather of truth, symbolically weighing the heart of the deceased against the ostrich feather of truth, which is supposed to balance before you're able to go on to receive the ink which the Christians adopted and changed into the crux and shatter.
Right.
Go on, people. You better know yourself. Go ahead. You've been saying, well, know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Go ahead. Truth is a continuous examination. Truth doesn't end. Truth, you must always seek information. Not a single Bible end truth.
Right.
Not a single Bible end intelligence.
Right.
Not a single Bible is the totality of any understanding.
Continuous.
Truth is a continuous examination.
Yes, sir.
And fact always supersedes belief. A belief is the absence of a knowledge. It is a desire, a hope. Let me go further. Moses couldn't have got the Ten Commandments from any God for the first time. Because the Bible, Torah itself, the book of Exodus, tells you yourself that Moses killed the Pharaoh. Don't even name the Pharaoh. Moses got a name, but a Pharaoh, anything that Pharaoh is a name. Pharaoh is a title. It means head of the great house, or king, or the man in charge, or president, the head of state.
No personal.
And Moses is charged with what? Murder. He's running from Ramesses the second, for committing murder. He isn't going to reach Mount Sinai till 40 years later, right? Now, if he doesn't reach Mount Sinai and he's charged with murder, and at Mount Sinai he's going to get the law, somebody got the law against murder before God gave him one. He's charged with murder before he got the tablet. Even brother Aaron will start from stealing from the treasury. There's a law against stealing. Right. A good family, one steals and one murder. Huh? Let me quote from you some of the, what is called a negative confession. Hail Ma'at, I have not made light thy bushel. I haven't put my hand in scales. You know, that happens here up to now. and give you short weight. Hail Ma'at, I have not spoken ill of my mother or my father. Hail Ma'at, I have not entered my own kind. That means homosexual behavior. Hail, I have not committed theft with violence. They even had it down that they had theft without violence and theft with violence. Do you hear them? There are 42 admonitions, the so-called 10 commandments, 10 out of those 42 that Moses had to learn. You tell me in the Bible that he was a priest. He was born with the wisest of the Egyptians. Well, what the hell is but the Egyptians? He was an Egyptian. You tell me also that in the book of Exodus, when Moses was running from the Pharaoh who was going to lock him up, chop his damn head for murder, you tell me that he met a girl named Zipporah, the daughter of the high priest of Nubia. All the women that Moses went to is daughters of high priests. He like holy. He was a holy man. And Zipporah, seeing Moses, said, when she went back to her father, because the girl went back to the well, and the father well, the high priest said, how come you girls return so fast? And the oldest one, Zipporah, said, according to the Bible, pointing to Moses, she said, that Egyptian, not that Jew. How she going to tell a Jew? How can I tell you which one is a Jew? How can I tell?
Oh, look alike.
Huh? Is there a Jewish look? Is there Jewish face? Is there Jewish color? No such garbage. Anybody in here could be a Jew.
Here.
Amen. Go ahead. If me with a Jewish mother, born in Puerto Rico, and a Jewish father, born in Ethiopia, and myself born in Ethiopia, from a group they call Palashe. I don't practice that nonsense no more. I spoke chop. I have when I had a stroke in the hospital, I almost had a pork chop. That just be pulled off my head. All of you with this food fat go right ahead. Pork chop saved me. Pork chop in the day.
I hear that.
I ate pork chop and I came back.
I hear that.
Now, that Egyptian, she said, he looked like any soul brother she has ever seen. And let me go back to the book of Exodus. You said that when Moses started to jive and the Lord didn't like the jiving, he said, come here, man, I'm going to show you a trick. You think you bad. I'll show you how bad I am. And I'm the Lord. I'm big time God. He said, look, Moses, put your hand in your bosom. I'll show you how bad I am. And they said, Moses put his hand in his bosom and pulled it out, and lo, and behold, it had changed white. Now, if it was white when it went in, and when he pulled it out, it had turned to white. God was a diverse touch. It ain't no trick, it's no magic, no nothing. If it was white and it turned and it turned white, you must say, if you were there, you said, God, what the hell that is? They have to be something else, even if it was Jesse Jackson Rainbow. And then, God didn't want to let them figure that he was fluking. God wants to let him know that he could do it again. He told Miriam, for your goddamn lips, I'm going to show you. You know, that's the way they're talking. You know what that is. This ain't happening in Europe. Remember, this is happening in Egypt.
Yes, sir.
And Egypt is still in Africa.
Yes, sir.
I saw it there after January.
Yes, sir.
And he told Miriam, when Moses was to marry the Ethiopian girl, the daughter of the high priest of Ethiopia, Another high priest daughter. No, if you got high priest, you got other priests underneath him, right? If you got priests, you got congregation. That means there's some Jewish girls and Jewish fellas up in Ethiopia. And if you got them in Ethiopia and Egypt, Sudan is right in between. You how they gonna jump over next on it? Then you got them there too. Remember, there's no Israel yet.
Not yet.
They took the land of Canaan, exterminated the Hittites, the Amalekites, all the Sites and Bison and Mites and all that. That nations and Hites. They didn't kill them yet. They took their land and said, God tell them to get it. Genocide, Holocaust. Now, and then he said, Miriam, come here. What the hell you argue with your brother, telling him you didn't like the selection of his wife? Who put you in charge of any damn thing? And she said, well, Lord, I mean, he should marry one of yours who was struggling with us. Said, did I put you in charge? I was, and the Aaron said, Lord, take it easy with her, please. And the Lord said, you keep out your damn business. I said, you know how your mother and father talk. You were down, shut your mouth, shut your goddamn mouth. Your time. This is no democracy. This is a dictatorship.
Right.
You are my father, you run this shit, you ain't got a thing to do with it. I don't know how you have to say how black children are born asunder because you know the black parents. Don't tell the black parents no shit, but this is democracy. You gonna vote for things after in the house. You don't vote in my mother's house. You didn't vote in my father's house. The only vote you did shut your goddamn mouth.
I hear that.
Lord, tell Miriam. And the Lord turned Miriam white. White as a leper. I didn't write the job. So if you come around and you say every word, every T, every dot in the Bible is the word of God, then if it's the word of God, who tell anybody at the Nicene Conference to take out 18 books of God's words? And then tell me the books are lost. And you sit down in the church, a man tell you the book is lost. If I bring your book with 18 pages missing, and you ask me what 18 pages, I said, lost. You go say, this book ain't no goddamn book. You go on the 18 pages. How come you don't want 18 books? You let that sucker tell me every Sunday. It's lost. Bring it, go get it. Bring it back.
I hear that. I hear that.
You can't bring it back because one of the books is a book of genealogy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you say that it's got hair like lamb's wool and its skin is like the soot of the chimney.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe you know. They didn't say that Jerry Curl. They didn't say he went to the square hall. Let me see how Herodotus said in book 2. And Herodotus been there in 457 BC. 457, it means that the Africans are under, and 457, they're under Persian rules. Because the Persians had invaded Egypt in 525. That they weren't expelled until 332. So they're under Persian rules now. When Herodotus is to say in book 2, which is called Euterpe, the Egyptians, the Colchians, the Ethiopians, and the Nubians have thick lips, broad nose, woolly hair, and they're burnt of skin and coat. He's been there. He saw it.
Right.
Not a professor in some school in Yale or Harvard saying that he was blind. You're talking about, I don't know, there's no need for any more, but that's going on.
Teach, brother.
Those Africans who built, you talk about the Pantheon. What great architecture the Greeks got. About Roman arch and Gothic art. What are you talking about? I'll carry you to the funerary temple of Ramesses II. Right next to the Valley of the King and show you all of them arches, and there was no European nation involved yet.
Yes,
Much
sir.
less
Yes, sir.
Greece and Greek art and Roman art. Let me carry you to show you. Every one of those arts formed thousands of years before a Greek was born. Thousands of years before the first Greek Homer wrote the Iliad or the Odyssey. Before Homer even said that the first gods of Europe came from Ethiopia, go to the Odyssey and see where he says that Zeus and Apollo came from Ethiopia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's the first Greek writer saying that. That means Homer. But the Bible don't mean nothing. Because you're going to rest that Sunday. You're going back to sing, make me whiter than snow, oh Lord. Wash me in the blood of the Lord, and I shall be whiter than snow. You probably sung it today. It's a favorite of the ministers. And you go watch the stained glass windows.
Oh,
And you go see Jesus, Michelangelo's cousin.
Michelangelo.
You don't even know that the picture you got in your house, in your prayer book, it's got nothing to do with JC. The picture in your house is Michelangelo's cousin. Michelangelo was commissioned by Pope Julius II.
Right.
To paint what he believed the Holy Family looked like. All during this time, Rome is worshiping the Black Madonna and Child.
Yes, sir.
The same as the present Pope, who went back to Poland twice since he spoke, to sit and worship at the feet of the Black Madonna.
Yes, sir.
Same as the one at the Pyrenees, between Spain and France.
And Germany, too.
And Germany.
Yeah.
Same as all the other Black Madonnas. The first Black Madonna, white Madonna that was ever painted, was painted by an Italian named Mantegna. The Pope in 1498, the Pope then refused it, but Michelangelo, using his uncle's wife, and their child was a symbol,
right.
the model to produce the present Jesus in your church and the Bible in your house. And you are Black Madonna if you're a woman and had a child.
All right.
You have been a Black Madonna with your child.
All right.
Mary didn't get a child no different than you. Go back and read your own Bible. She took pain and an ass riding in Bethlehem and went to the manger. All you mothers there, you took pain when you were giving birth to your child. And you said, childbirth is a curse from God. Well, Mary cursed. She had the time to say when you had yours.
Right.
Was Jesus born in sin?
Teach.
More than your child?
Teach, brother.
What other way did Mary have it than you had it? Did that child come up wanting milk? From a milk bottle or from your breast? No, you can't feed a child with the breast because they're going to pull you out of shape. But your man can fuck the breast all the time. What hypocrites we are. We lie to ourselves that the child going to make us out of shape. And so we got to give up impersonal buckle. And when the child gets cranky, you talk about how cranky the child. Why shouldn't it be cranky? Your breast was made for the child's comfort.
For human, yeah.
The warmth of your body is what the child needs. You probably have a down and a pillow. I want to know where the back foot is from there.
All right. All right.
All right. No, but your comfort, you got to go out to see Mrs. Soap, the flick canasta, and go with the girls. So you don't have time to feed your own child and your own breast. And the damn thing is you pump the milk out in a can and they sell it to another woman who wished she had some milk in her breast. Christianity, before it became Christianity, wasn't called that.
No, no.
It is at Antioch in 212 that the new religion got the name Christian.
Yes,
and the people calling themselves Christians was 212 before Jesus supposed to have been there.
Yes,
the story of Jesus is 4,000 years before Jesus. Jesus, the story of Jesus is a copy of the story of Isis, Osiris,
All right,
and
all
Horus.
right, all right, all right.
There were 16 such stories. The Jesus story, the last of the 16.
16.
I suggest you read the 16 Crucified Saviors by Kersey Gray.
Dr. Graves.
So you could see them all, Osiris and Horus, then be the first of that story. I don't need to talk about Islam. Islam ain't even here yet. That is down the road, and I ain't reached there yet. I haven't reached the first turn, must have to get down the road. I don't need to bring that in.
Right.
That's wasted time. When I was worshiping Ptah, when I was watching Osiris, when Akhenaten brings to the world, I'm in chapter 4, bring to the world the concept of one God. Moses wasn't alive yet when Akhenaten spoke of Akhab.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
4,000
There was
years
no
before-
Moses
before
yet.
Moses.
When Akhenaten died, there was no Moses yet.
4,000 years before.
When Akhenaten speak of Prince of Peace and things like that, when Akhenaten speak of non-violence, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who read Akhenaten when he was in South Africa, that's where he was come from. He went to India because he refused to ride in a car with black people train. He was then representing the British Crown against the Indian people in South Africa. Tell it like it is. My mother used to tell me, if you want shit, get off the pot. If you want to tell it like it is, don't tell it at all. Martin Luther King doesn't even know his own people. He flew right over Africa to India. He didn't need to go there. He could have stopped right there in Egypt and find the men that originally
Yes,
talked
sir.
about
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you don't know your own history, anybody could fool you. So let him go. Let Solomon go and bring back the plagiarism work that he used. The work of Ameneop.
All right.
A-M-E-N-E-O. A-M-E-N-E-M-E-O-P-E. Who wrote 1,000 years before Solomon the so-called Proverbs. And there are thousands of books carrying all of them, the works of Ameneop. And you can see, Black Man Alive have about 10 or 9 passages where Solomon copied some of them word for word. But you said, so what? So what if these are the historical facts? How do you mean, so what? So what if you knew them in your upbringing? You would have been a different person. That's so what. You would have walked with pride.
That's so what.
Your son wouldn't have been taking the needle.
That's so what.
He only takes the needle because he has no pride in himself.
That's
She only takes the needle because she's mad. She hates herself. And he hates himself. He goes to bed and don't give a damn if he causes her to be pregnant. And he walks off because why should he? What the hell she gonna get? A damn black child anyhow. You done that a nigga ain't shit. And you say he gonna get a nigga, you call each other niggas.
That's right. That's right.
Because you don't think that when you see in the mirror, you see something you hate yourself, so you call it a nigga. But if she knew, if he knew what I'm talking about, if he knew that his mother's womb was sacred, if his mother told him that that girl's womb was the same womb like she had, and that his son was going to come out of a sacred womb, heaven, then when his baby come out of that womb.
All right.
He won't believe in it. He'll grab it. You'll have to pull it from him.
All right.
Why aren't they telling you that in church?
Yeah.
Why did they tell you some lies? But you obtained the sin of Mary. I mean of Eve. That Eve, you're paying for Eve's sin. What is the sin that Eve committed? Huh? Let us go down to the scenario. On the sixth day, God made a woman and a man and sent them out to multiply. With a piece of chalk? With a crayon? With a pencil? Is that what happened? Oh, God sent them out to school each other. To multiply. To have sex. Sacred, religious, holy sex. Now how could God get mad? Who made the vagina? Who made the penis? Isn't it the same God? God took the time to make a penis, the sock. The fella. God took the time to make the scrotum, 2 balls. Gotta tell you in Latin because you like that, and then tell you the fade and the profane. God took the time to make that hole, that orifice there, so that the urine cannot go down, that the sperm go down. God make little sperm. So infinitesimal that you need a good telescope to look at it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Someday you need a current. And then God made a fallopian tube, which is an inverted penis. That's all it is. God made a labia minora with some hair in it, a labia minora inside to trap anything from going in, stop it from going in. And God made that mount orifice about 3.5 to 4 inches in there. To the sperm to go down. And then God made a little mouth. It looked like a flower, looked like a bell, with a little hole there for the sperm to get in down the fallopian tube. And then God made that ovary to keep that fertilized sperm.
Yes, sir.
And then God cursed. Why did God make all that intricate mechanism? Isn't it for Mary? Eve and Adam to use it? Isn't it for him to put the penis in that vagina? If I give you a bottle and a cork, what are you supposed to do with the damn cork? Stick it in the bottle. And then God give them feelings. God give him an erection and give her a feeling of joy. And then God cursed them for using it. Is God a maniac?
Tell them about sin.
And the other day, women don't have pain with child because of sin.
Right.
The other day I saw a roach reaching the pain. A female roach, that is. Giving birth to a roach. I saw a horse. A mare, that is, giving birth to a little colt, written in pain. And if you go and see an elephant giving birth to a little one, it's written, did God curse the female elephant, the female horse, the female roach? Stop and do some thinking, mother. Talk to the boy of yours.
I hear you, brother.
You ask why the girls are pregnant and no father? Because of the bastard son of yours. That bastard son who you think is so damn good, and you don't tell him to respect another woman like you want your man respect you. And that's why that jackass don't have no intelligence. That's why he dropped his oath every damn place and don't care. Because you didn't tell him.
Right.
And no, you mad.
Right.
Because your man left you.
Right.
Because his father didn't tell him the same thing you not tell him, and your husband ain't telling the boy nothing. You brag when your son got some girl pregnant, well, oh, what a macho he is. But when your daughter have the first piece of sex, and she may get pregnant by first time, you call a bitch whore, slut, get your black ass out of my house.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're a Christian lady.
Christian,
The time when that girl needs you most. This is the time your daughter, if she ever needed you, it is now.
All right.
But you kick her out the house. Because your goddamn Cadillac or your dog tied up is what better than her. Because you embarrassed what Mrs. Jones may say. But Jesus, mama, Jesus didn't have no married daddy. Not even the angel was married to his mama. She was one of them teenage pregnant girls you see out there today.
All right, all right.
One piece, bro. One piece.
Sam.
Oh. How come your minister didn't speak like that to you today? He call you everything, you're a sinner. Are you stupid enough to give 10% of your earnings? No, if he can't talk to you after 6 days of hard-ass work, if he can't make you feel good, talk to you that you could go out the next day and feel good, and the horse, an iron horse, don't give a damn thing. If he can't fix them old houses down the block with the church money, like Blake does out here, or Jones do in Brooklyn, or White Walker do in Manhattan, you don't need that sucker. You can get a frequency to do something good.
The money in the white man's bank.
And about time we go back to the real old-time religion. Yes, sir. The old-time religion was Harriet Tubman. Right. Yes, sir. The old-time religion was not Turner, then Beasy.
Yes, sir.
The old-time religion was Richard Allen.
All right. All right.
Let's go back to Henry Highland Garnett. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Then we talk about the old-time religion. A Christianity in which the African people related themselves, not to the gospel, singing some down there, I am satisfied, I got no trouble with Jesus, take the world but give me Jesus. And then I grab your pocket book. And you think of this. But you just said take the world and give me Jesus, a lie. You know damn well if I take one thing you kill me. But the good old African spiritual said, I am going back home and the good ship Jesus. They didn't mean go to heaven. They mean they were going back to Africa.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because they named the church the African Methodist Church.
That's right.
The African Baptist Church. The African Community League. They still were proud of Africans.
Yes, sir.
They knew if you brought an African from Africa and she gives birth in America, it's an African child. Right. Yes. Go ahead. You see,
yes, sir.
They still have the sense. You ask, what did I lose in Africa? You lose your mind.
All right, all right.
You got to go back to find it and bring it. Everybody's proud of their background. The Greeks are proud today. They had a Greek march of Greek freedom.
Today, yeah.
The Greeks are proud of the heritage. They got a Pulaski Day. The Poles are proud of the heritage. They got a day for a man that got lost named Columbus. The Italians are proud out there. They got a day for a man who killed some people. Hundreds of thousands of people in Ireland. Not killed snakes. The Druids were people who used the symbol of two snakes. That's what Patrick and the Roman Catholics murdered. Not snakes that you see there. Tell it like it is.
Right.
And they got a day for him. How come you got no day? Oh, I just remember to just give you a day. You went to Congress and you dog them knees. You're always on your knees begging for something. Ask King Regan to give you a day for king. You and Coretta make king look like an ass. You disgrace the man. Nobody gives his enemy a day. You make young people coming in the future look at king like he was a punk. They're going to say, if that man was so good, fighting the state, how come the state gives him a day?
Make a whole holiday.
All you have to do is take, but you know why you don't want to take the day? You won't get paid. And you can't have a day for sacrifice. You got to get it with pay. And therefore you make king look up like a punk. I'm glad that Betty won't speak like Coretta. King who fought no different than Malcolm, he had his way, and Malcolm had his method. Both men deserve a day from us, not from funky religion. But no, you're always on your knees. That's right. Always begging. I remember the other day I saw Jesus coming to Harlem. I got up early in the morning because JC told me he's coming. I said, JC, man, don't come there. You're going to get hurt. Then I knew it, but I didn't know before. He's a diver sturdy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got to tell it like it is.
You had a good chance to go.
And I know you're mad with me. But I knew that before I came here.
Tell the truth.
You see, that's why they come before to give you the highlights of what's going to go on. Because you'll go home. But you will go home now, but you don't want to lose your money, don't say it. And you want all of it. You see? But it's going to haunt you. This word's going to haunt you. And I said, don't believe me, check it out. Check it out. Go to Israel. Go to Greece. Go to Egypt. Go to Ethiopia. See the facts. That's right. That's right. Don't take my word. But go and check the facts. Go and check the documents. Tell your minister when he goes to Israel, plan Egypt, not to go to Cairo and just what a privilege that. Go touch it. See that there is no brick made of any kind of mud brick and straw. Touch the stone. See that there is no mortar. It's stone. See that they cut it. See that there is no slave labor because the Jew was born yet. Winding down to the question and answer period. You know, old lady tell me that day, old lady that's myself. And that's another thing, you know, don't call me no senior citizen. If you want you and I to be friends, don't ever call me a senior citizen. Don't insult me. I'm an old ass man. I'm 68 years old. Don't call me no senior citizen. I don't need platonic nonsense. I am proud being old. You know why? If I wasn't 68 years old, by the time my mother gave birth to me, December 31st, 1918, I would have been dead. So I want to get older. I want to get old like George. My father croaked when he was 102, and I'm trying to beat him. You know how he croaked? He croaked running behind a girl. 85-year-old girl. That was young. If you're 102, 85 is young. And my daughter asked her grandfather, "Granddaddy, if you caught the girl, what you gonna do?" And he said, "How the hell you think your father got you?" I feel the same like Daddy. Lady, you girls, I know most of you girls ain't got a man, so just to let you know, I'm still here. The whole thing is better than no thing.
All right.
Education could be fun. We don't have to be like grouchy or thing. I know when I teach in the class, the students always come in and it takes so much time to drag that old plane, flying up plane every Monday, go up there. It's the kind of cold ass weather. But when I got to make some joke in the classroom, but damn teeth clung into each other. that school wasn't made for black professors at all. Far up in the cold weather. And the students would say, Professor Ben, how come we don't feel the class goes so fast? You see, when I go in there, I don't care what the student's talking about, I get into it. Some professors get in, okay, now I want to start my class. Start the damn class, you don't want to say nothing. Jump right in the thing, talk what they're talking about, and next thing they know, you talking about what you want to know. And they, by the time they find out, it's time for the class to finish. But you got to know your facts. You can't be one page ahead of the student. Let the student say, Dr. Ben, you never bring a book. I said, that's why I don't bring books. I am no student. I am the professor. You don't read the damn book. I don't read the book. I read the damn book. You gotta be able to stand up here and don't repeat yourself.
Right.
Just bring down the facts. Bring it down. Know your subject.
Know yourself.
When you go to school, you don't try to get a C, just barely pass. And he has to do that, barely pass. You want to master the subject. Pick the professor's brain. Drain everything you could get out of it. Make it so when the professor leaves, they got to get to the wall. Because the brain has been drained. And don't tell nobody, oh, damn irrelevant. There's no such thing as irrelevant information. That information you don't use today, you may need tomorrow. Right. Learn everything. Learn about Europe, Asia, everything. Because you are everywhere. And everybody said, now that man came out of Africa. Even the South African anthropologists are saying that man originally began in Africa. Everybody coming back home. You see? What is it all about? Yeah, I brought up your ego. But am I building ego? Yeah. But for what? Just to build your ego? What are you going to do with the information? Now you got to hide. Your oven, this high is better than cocaine, better than crack. If you got to get high, this is the high. What you going to do with it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're going to build the school.
The European Jews got the synagogue.
That's right.
But they just don't pray there. They got billiard table, they got psychiatrists. They got sociologists, they got ping pong games. They got clubs to take the children to all kind of aliyah trips to learn different things.
Yes, sir.
They got in the synagogue committees to raise funds for brilliant students. What you gonna do? What you gonna do with this? They said among themselves, the first thing what we must do is have a house to worship. We must have a hospital. We must have an educational center.
Right, bro. Right.
Huh? What do you think?
We need our own.
I must have a Cadillac? Huh? A whorehouse, a dance place? a Funky Brothers radio show. What you going to do with the information? When you go back to church Sunday, you're going to put 10%? Don't you ask what's going to be done with this money?
Right.
When are we going to have a credit union? When are we going to build a hospital?
They give it to PTL.
You're going to beg everybody every time for the hospital? As they open the door, let me in. I'm supposed to be in here. Where the hell is yours?
All right, all right.
You're going to be a beggar all your life. Your ancestors didn't they?
No.
They built pyramids, they built hospitals, they built everything. They created mathematics and writing. They give the world law and order.
Right,
The
right.
concepts of God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you still begging. When I in order this, you're going to still beg? You can't. I tell you this thing to haunt you. To make life miserable for you. That you can't sleep nights. You're going to see ghosts and all kinds of things grabbing you by your head, hearing your calls out. I'm going to bring rain in the bed so the very call could go. So that when you get up in the morning, your natural hair will be pretty to you.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
the black man will see beauty in this. Oh, my wife held my head a lot of night, and she said, Ben, how come you got such beautiful hair? I said, you got to ask mommy and daddy. And I said, look at your child, baby. Look, you see that child? That's me and you and me. Oh, you got some other idea. Tell me before you die, baby. You see, you got to go back home and get that boy.
That's right.
Get that little 9-year-old boy that you said, I can't do nothing with him. How the hell you can't do nothing with a 9-year-old boy? You must be mad. Man. You are his mother. You are his father. You can't do what? I got 12. There's no man. Yeah, the sister looks to us. I got 12. I would have more, but the women they can't go no more. Can't go no more. Nature calls. And I tell you, I got 51 grands and one on the way, and 7 great-grands.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. All right.
And I was trying to get some more, but I got this woman here, 38. She's entitled to arrest. She's 38 years. You know, and so this is the first one. This is the third one. Oh yeah, I killed 2 wives before. I killed them with sweet love. I was so sweet to the first one, she was getting a baby, I said to change her mind, and went back. And then I met the second one, I had 6 children. And I met this girl, he had no child. And I said, I want to marry you. She said, you crazy. You got 6 kids, I ain't got none. I said, baby, how do you think? I came with them, I must have been sweet, somebody loved me. And she take me out to prove that I am not that sweet. And then it got so good, she run into a tree. Leave me with 10. And then I got 10 children. I met this other woman and had no child. I said, I'm going to marry you. And she said, not me with them 10.
I hear that.
You don't know him, you will be missing me. And she said, I'm going to marry you just to prove. And she knew she was going to marry for 2 years. The other night, my son carried us out on a 38th anniversary. The other day, she tried to kill me last year, June. She had me in the hospital almost out. And then this doctor, the sister come, and she leaned over me to stick me with the needle, and oh, how pretty that sister was. Oh, she looked so sweet. So when I saw that, I said, what the hell am I going to die for? You ain't married yet, right? I gotta leave you alone. Well, if this one goes, I'm coming. All in good gesture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I love these sisters so much. You see, the brothers got to learn, and I'm going to end with my famous function. Look at the sisters. Brothers, look, it's a line of nothing but sisters up here. Good God. Brother Bunker, you must have
Keep quiet. Keep quiet.
I thought it was because you didn't want to stick hit anymore. Are you bragging?
Not me, not me.
Brother, you sit beside the sister. Just look at the sister sit beside you. Even though it's a brother and sister. Tell that woman. Tell that black woman. Because nobody does it. Just look dead in the face. Look at her, man. Don't look at me. Look at the woman. Look at the woman, brother. Look at her. She's a young girl. Don't get scared. Look at that black sister. Black woman? Say it, brother. Black woman. All right.